Scary part is his fuzzy one looks clear to me.
62.
Oh, this is in the budget, is
Yes.
that correct?
It is. I've discussed it with RJ specifically.
Yeah, I thought we hired David. Can't we pay you $182 an hour and forget this guy?
Boy, I'll tell you.
He liked the 182 an hour.
Just like Jim's looking to be adopted, you know, to be the principal, but you only get that when someone comes knocking, I guess.
Jeez. I want to hold his feet to the fire.
Are we getting any senior principal services in this deal?
Well, yeah, if you look at A2, which
Yes.
mine's, I guess, clearer than everybody else's,
That
it's
is
got
a
22 hours total,
chart.
so,
Sign off.
yeah.
Huh.
Other questions for Trev?
Each column is a person.
Okay.
One other quick update for Public Works. Did have an email from Department of Transportation staff today. We'll be working towards getting a formal meeting, an update on Phase 1, and/or a more
That's
formal response.
SR 14.
SR 14, Phase 1. So we're working on that. I know there's been a lot of inquiry on that, not only from staffers and electeds, but as the citizens as well. So.
Excellent. RJ?
Yeah, the agenda bill that I have before you is from a workshop that we had back in April with Master Licensing Services. This is the interlocal agreement that allows us to go forward with partnering up with them, and so they can start looking at our Washington's codes, suggest changes that they need to make to it, and continue that process along. So we can start using just them as their primary business license.
So this is a good sign.
Yes, this just gets the process going.
Good.
Any questions?
What functions in this agreement are currently performed by city staff?
All the functions.
Okay. By going into this partnership, do we free up any positions or any portions of positions?
Yeah, by going in this partnership, one of the key things is the renewal process, since the business will just renew all line just with the state.
I
and then
picked
we'll
up
get-
on that, yeah.
Yeah, so right now typically, we have to send out 600 to 700 renewals. Vicki won't have to worry about doing that, stuffing envelopes, getting any kind of signatures or processing in that information, so we should see significant savings from that.
600 to 700 renewals.
Yeah. And some of those are outside of the city limits, just contractors coming in just to do one project. So we're sending renewal letters to blanket everybody, whether they're inside the city or not, and they're not renewing, so. Not if they don't have a project, they're not gonna renew in town. And this way, they just go online, get their state license, get their city license, they can click on any of those cities they're working on, and it'll be all done.
Well, 600 to 700 a year has got to be substantial hours.
Yes.
Deal.
Yeah, at least a couple
And
of weeks.
and it's all right at the end of the year, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
we start sending out our renewal licenses at the beginning of December, and so they'll come in January to pay for those, or.
It's it's all scrunched up right at the end of the year when you don't have any excess capacity.
Yeah.
Definitely don't have as many people in the building, that's for sure.
RJ, would you guess we're going to spend half as much money for this service as we would expend inside City Hall?
I will find, it'll be a savings in the sense that we can free up Vicki to do other projects.
Right.
That would be the key thing. The other thing, I think it's a good customer service tool in the sense that a business owner doesn't have to write a check to the state, write a check to the city. They can get their license right from the state, show to them.
Well, and my concern is just like John said earlier, you know, we have to look at this budget and so, you know, without having absolute numbers, which I'm not after, but, you know, are we gonna save, it's gonna cost us 50% less than what we're spending today?
You know,
It's a hard number to come up with,
It's a
I
hard,
guess.
we get probably somewhere between $11,000 and $12,000 a year for business license fees. Then we probably spend just that amount there, just processing everything and getting to sign it, so.
If it's done right, we pick up 100%.
Mm.
Because if we do it right, we've also got no cost to use the state.
They just,
They take over all the work we're doing now, and even new licenses, that type of stuff that we're not taking over the counter.
I don't recall what he said, but what if somebody doesn't do it? Do they go after them? I mean, is there any aggressiveness on their part?
Well, in order for them to have a state business license or a city business license, they've got to have the other one if their addresses come back as a common inside the city limits.
Yeah.
But you've also got those that just flat go away. So,
I don't know if the state does business license enforcement. We can do business license enforcement, you know, as part of the renewal process is something for us to look at. Sometimes communities will, almost like an enhanced patrol for speeding or drunk driving. You focus in on it for a little while, try to get people back in the system to pay their licenses. Any actual budget savings for something like this would be less postage,
yes.
less supplies for envelopes and letters, but we're not recommending as part of this any staff reductions. That would make significant budget savings. There'd be
No staff reduction, but no staff increases either. I mean, that's.
right, and an enhanced capacity to make us a better organization.
cool. John?
Down the road, we wanted to add some kind of stipulation to receiving a business license in the city. I don't know what that would be, but let's just say we wanted, if you're gonna get a business license, you have to do this or do that. Is there a way that we can have a checkoff box if the state's gonna be in charge of, getting that information? Does that make sense? I mean,
I'm not following you.
Is there like a specific example?
a lot of times there may be reasons why we don't give out business licenses. If it's a certain kind of business or what have you. If they just go and apply for a business license, then how do we check that it's the kind of business that we want in the community?
I think they will still have to go and get the proper permits. That's gonna be the catch there. There's still, Mitch is still gonna have to, Mitch and Chief Schumacher will still have to have inspection of some sort of lease or approval.
Right.
It's
And we still get the monthly reports. It's more often than monthly. It seems like
we,
it's more
we'll
often
have a
than
remote
monthly.
access, so we, as many times we want to
Real time.
check on that, it's real time, and we still have to update our
Okay.
database.
Just a hypothetical question, I just. wanna make
As you know,
sure.
when you license every year, license the first time, you've got to put the type of business and break it down by categories and all that type of stuff for the state, which would hopefully flow right through to our side and have some explanation in there of, Tandy Corporation, what the hell does that do? And then they've got
Right.
the subheadings in there, so.
One thing to keep in mind too, business licensing and our authority to business license is done under our taxing powers that are granted to us by the state. It's a tax, but everyone calls it a business license. It's not a regulatory role. When we issue a building permit, check zoning and things like that, it's under our police powers that we are delegated to us by the state. And most communities blend the two together, and we exercise our police powers for zoning and building and fire code regulation by leveraging a business license process. But if push came to shove at the end of the day, we have to issue the business license. So we'd issue someone a business license for a business that's not allowed in the zone, then we turn around, put on our regulatory hat, and issue them a citation for being in